You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey guys, welcome to the We Don't Have Cookies podcast. Thanks for downloading the show. With me today is the host from the Sketch Comedy Podcast show, Stuart Rice. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on the show, Jason.
Oh, I'm proud to have you on because I'm going to be a guest on one of your episodes coming up. And that means a lot to me because I'm a fan of your show. And I actually sent you an email one time when you asked for some feedback. And it shaped your show.
It did. It was, I was a little lost on how to set up my show. It was something that I was changing formats, and I kind of threw it out to everybody like, hey, what would you like to see? And I think you had the best suggestion. And so it's what I ran with.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It's something that you called the Marshall Initiative, which I love.
Yes.
And as I said, I'm going to be a guest on the show coming up. Do you know what date that'll be?
That should be this Sunday. So what is this Sunday? It's going to be October 29th, right before Halloween.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect timing.
Yeah. Yes. And do you mind if I tell everybody what my show is so that they know? Okay. So as you know, my show is basically I have interesting people on the show, like you, and we have a conversation. And then from that conversation, we pull out the little nuggets and then we do an improvised sketch right after the conversation about what we talked about. So it's all improvised. It's highly produced. The sketch is highly produced. So it's kind of fun to listen to, people that don't normally do comedy, do some comedy. It's fun.
And I'm looking forward to hearing that because it was a story from a former guest of this podcast called Father Time.
That's right.
Who at the time went through every person's name in the phone book until he found me. So he could ask me a question about somebody else that at the time I had only talked to twice.
Yeah. Not creepy at all.
No,
not creepy about that.
And recently you had Mike Phirman on the podcast. What was it like to work with him?
I did. Mike was great. When you watch, because I put up all the recording sessions up on my YouTube channel, he was great. So he was animated and very, very engaging in the conversation. And he was willing to talk about anything. He was fantastic. But my favorite part was when I say like, oh, okay, so it's been about a half hour. Now we got to come up with a sketch. And so he's like, great. So we came up with the sketch and he's like, all right, so when's that going to be done? And I was like, Mo, what are you talking about? we need to record it still. And he looked at me through the camera. And the first time he broke that smile and he was like, I don't do improv. And I was like, well, you did today. But he was fantastic. He actually did a lot of the Foley, he did the sound effects, and it was really great. It turned out fantastic.
I'll be honest with you. Listening to that podcast, I would have never guessed that he was at any way apprehensive about doing improv. It sounded like it it was just right up his alley, man.
Yeah, and Chris Hardwick on his show has a couple times mentioned how terrible at improv Chris Hardwick is, and I'm not saying Chris Hardwick's bad at improv, but I could almost assume Chris Hardwick's going to be bad at improv because he's going to be looking for the punchline the entire time. That's what I've noticed with comedians on the podcast, is that when they try to be funny, and when you try to be funny in improv, it doesn't really work out so well. So with Mike, he's more of a musician than he is a comedian, right? Mm-hmm. Musicians are usually pretty good at improv. They know that they have to come up with stuff occasionally and work around things. So yeah, he's just kind of a natural. It just worked out real well. He was great.
Yeah, Mike actually contributes music to the show.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's a really talented musician and very funny. Is he going to be back on the show soon? I thought I heard you guys say that he was making a second appearance. I could be wrong.
No, I haven't. Not that I wouldn't take him in a heartbeat, but I don't think we've made plans for that quite yet. I'm hoping to. Oh, I think I missed it. Well, I guess I'm not doing that now. I was hoping to buy tickets to Weird Al Yankovic down in L.A. and go to the show with him. I totally forgot they went on sale today. Shoot. Oh well. But yeah, he's great. I don't know how I ended up being Facebook friends with him on Facebook, but that's kind of weird, but weird in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, here's something that we've never done on the show before, talking about things that are weird in a good way. It's the first ever guest choice, this week's Dumbass of the Year.
Okay.
First up, I wasn't expecting to ever see this in the news. It's a woman who baked a cake for an officer, and written on the cake, it says, "Sorry, I tried to bite you." I'm pretty sure she's trying to get out of something. Although I don't know if it'll work.
I don't know, but hey, man, if there's any way to get, isn't that how you get to any officer? Is you get to their heart through their stomach?
Yeah.
Like I feel like donut stores have been part of the drug cartel for many, many years, but they get away with it because they serve donuts, and cops love donuts.
And in a Facebook post that she has now taken down, or at least set up to private because I can't see it anymore, she described him as, in quotes, being super sweet, by the way. So I think she's trying to butter him up.
Butter him up or get a date, something, huh?
Apparently she was at a wine tasting thing at a local university. Her friend called paramedics when she passed out. And next thing you know, she wakes up and she's in a jail cell, and she was told the story of her fighting with an officer and trying to bite him, which she was charged with too.
Of course. That's pretty amazing. I don't know. We're going to see something that's going to beat that. I don't know.
As a grown man, now as a child, everybody has tried, at least when they were 2 or so. As a grown man, have you ever tried to bite anybody?
I'm trying to think. Yes, but not to get away from them. I guess that's the way I would describe that. No, I can't. Yeah, that seems like a real bad strategy at this point in my life. I think when I was a kid, I was not the best fighter in the world. In fact, I'd just go ahead and say I was not a fighter. I was a lover, not a fighter. But there were a couple times where, like no matter what happens, like you're playing wiffle ball and things get out of hand, and you get in a fight. And I just remember there was this really large kid. He was easily twice my size because I was always kind of scrawny. I'm actually more medium size. I'm playing it down. But I was much smaller than this kid, and he jumped on top of me. So I was pinned underneath him, and he was just like crushing me with this enormous body that he had, right? Mm-hmm. And so I just, out of desperation, my hands were pinned down. Everything else was pinned down. I couldn't kick. I couldn't breathe. Reached out my mouth and just bit down as hard as I could. And I swear to God, I felt my teeth hit together, right? So I bit down so hard, I felt the hardness of my teeth.
Wow.
And I just remember he he got up and he was holding his boob and cried all the way home. I feel bad about that, but he shouldn't have been jumping on top of me. That's all I'm saying.
And before I get a bunch of letters and emails and everything else, I just want to say that I am fully aware that teeth don't bite people, people bite people. So.
Yes, yeah, I don't want any litigation, or I don't want any laws on the books regarding. Fantastic.
The next contestant for this week's Dumbass of the Year, this is your second choice. Okay. I love this one because I just ate there for lunch today. It's not at the place doing this, but at the place that they're reserving. It's a California restaurant who has been forced to defend themselves from people on Yelp because they are reserving Popeye's chicken at their restaurant. And I love the person who is trying to defend this because they clearly don't understand why anyone has a problem with it.
That's amazing.
In capital letters, they say, "We proudly serve Popeye's spicy tenders. It's the best fried chicken anywhere from New Orleans."
Wow. It was Popeye's chicken?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to beat Popeye's chicken. Yeah. I thought for a second there, I thought it was Chick-fil-A, and I was like, I feel like I wish somebody would do that with Chick-fil-A, because who doesn't love Chick-fil-A's chicken tenders? But yeah, sometimes you don't want the racist overtones, right? But Popeyes, I don't know. I feel like Popeyes is an equal opportunity. So horrific. Was the place name? The place's name was Bluto's Chicken.
I would love it if it was. Let's see. I'm trying to find the name here. The lady who was trying to defend this is named Kimberly Sanchez, and I should say allegedly, I guess. I don't know how that works.
Right.
I don't know if you can give somebody's full name and say allegedly afterwards and get away with it. That's what we're going to try to do. Right. I like it because after she says that, all proud, now she starts getting snippy, saying, "Also, in case you need to know, we buy gumbo from a friend who sells at a local farmer's market." Not sure if that's the same thing. Then she goes on to say, "We also don't mill our own flour or grow our own veggies." So
she's right. It's a little weird to that would be like me going to the store, buying an iPhone, taking it out of the iPhone package, or better yet, just writing Stuart's own iPhone, right? And selling it as hey, this is my iPhone that I made this. I feel like you got to disclose pretty hard on that. That's
you just draw a Superman S on the Apple logo, and it's a whole new thing.
A whole new thing.
You heard of the S Plus? Well, this is something totally different.
Yeah, I don't know why China even bothers trying to make those, trying to actually copy the phones. Just take the box and just write something different on it, color it differently. All it takes is a couple markers and you're in business.
There's a few quotes here that I really love. One is, "We promote usually small batch producers in our menu. The exception is Popeyes. We can't fry at this location, and it's the fried chicken I love so much. And I ate it a ton in Atlanta, so I serve it."
Yeah, I can't knock it. I think that's pretty good. I can't fry chicken. I don't have a fryer. So I guess I do the same thing in my house. I present the chicken as look what I did. I produced the money that bought this chicken. So she's just skirting the line a little bit. But Popeyes doesn't like this. That's not a thing Popeyes likes.
Well, they get 2 deliveries from Popeyes a day, so they are getting something out of it.
Popeyes does like it.
And it seems like kind of a slight oversight on her part if she has a restaurant to serve fried chicken but not have anything to fry it in. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, maybe don't call your place the fried chicken headquarters. Find something else to be as your specialty. Ugh.
This woman is full of quotes. I love it. I got 2 or 3 more. She's the best. Hopefully, maybe I can get her on the show.
You should get her on the show.
She says, I tried Costco chicken. I tried Restaurant Depot chicken. And then I went to dinners at Popeyes, and I knew this was the chicken we had to have for the store. It's the best chicken.
Oh, man.
The next quote is, my kitchen isn't set up for frying. We're an old building. I don't actually have a proper kitchen back there. I don't know if that's something you should admit. I love Popeye's chicken. I love it. I think it's the best chicken out there, which I believe is the third time she said that.
Yeah. The idea that she doesn't actually have a proper chicken has me believing that she has like a garbage fire and a couple of 5-gallon buckets that she just mixes things in, you know? That's
the best part is she told that to a local TV station. I don't actually have a proper kitchen back there. Come on down.
Yeah. We actually don't even have running water in this building. We're incapable of producing anything. Luckily, we have a stream nearby. That's wow.
I kind of feel bad. I didn't really give equal time to the sorry I bit you cake lady, but she didn't have as many quotes. There's not a lot to work with.
No, what can you do?
I do have a picture of the cake. I might put that on the Facebook page. If you're the police officer, are you going to eat that cake?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're running a risk.
Yeah.
Like, what's in that cake? You don't know.
Yeah, it could be 90% laxatives.
That's true. It could be 90% laxatives, or maybe it was produced in a kitchen that wasn't quite equipped to be a kitchen. And you're running a risk for diphtheria or some other weird disease if you eat that.
Well, she already tried to bite you. Is it that preposterous that she would poison you too?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. What if it's inside the cake is actually something that's going to bite? Like you cut the end of the cake and then all of a sudden something pops out of you and tries to bite you again. She just didn't feel like her work was entirely done.
You know, I would like to think that she gave him the wrong cake, and the one that she gave him had a file in it that she was going to give to a friend to send her while she was in jail to try to escape.
Yes, that's also really good. I also imagine like it's one of those big cakes and that she's actually in the cake. And she's going to pop out because she attempted to bite him, correct?
Yeah.
She didn't actually bite him?
No.
Yeah, unfinished business. Element of surprise, jump out of the cake. What cop's going to expect that?
I'm going to try to find out if this restaurant has a website. And if it does, I'm going to do everything I can to bring this lady onto the show. I don't know if she will come.
I want to hear her story. I think her story is very important.
Yeah. She loves her some Popeyes. I can't see she's wrong, man. I had her for lunch. Like I said, it was good. So
Popeyes is delicious.
I just think it's great that in every single quote, she says, it's the best chicken. And she sounds like Trump. She's like, it's the best.
This chicken is the best.
I've had all the chicken. This is the best chicken. That's why I serve at my restaurants.
That's right.
None of them have proper kitchens. They're all very bad old buildings with, oh my God.
I just want to let you know that at Popeyes, if the cooks take a knee though, they're fired.
For the life of me, man, I can't figure out why she would ever tell the news that she doesn't have a proper kitchen back there.
Yeah, you're just inviting the health department to stop by, right?
Yeah.
Because they like Popeye's chicken. And that feels pretty safe if it's just secondhand chicken, right?
Now I want to see pictures of this kitchen. I want to know what a kitchen that's not a proper kitchen at a restaurant looks like.
Oh God. Yeah, you would want to know, but then would you regret it afterwards? I feel like you regret it afterwards.
You know what I really hope it is just a soda dispenser and a laptop where they order food from other restaurants. and it's just Grubhub. They all just deliver it to them. They raise the price about $1.50.
Right.
And that's all it is. Their fries are from McDonald's. The burgers are from Burger King.
Okay, but now you're hitting on something that actually does sound pretty awesome. Now, imagine if you could go to a restaurant and you're like, you know what I really want to do is I want to get onion rings from Burger King. I want to get some chicken from Popeyes, and I want to get an apple pie from McDonald's. That's 3 trips you're making, right? Now, all of a sudden, you go to one place, all that stuff comes to you. I think that that's a business model that could have. She's just ahead of the game. She just didn't realize where she was at.
I like that idea. And you could call it Others.
Yeah.
It's just a restaurant for everybody.
Yeah.
That's your tagline, a restaurant for everybody.
Restaurant for everybody.
We got ribs from Chili's. We got it all. I love this lady.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She just didn't realize. Yeah, it's good stuff. She's fantastic. I don't know if we can call her the dumbest person on the planet this week, because she might have been ahead of the game.
So you think the dumbass of the year should go to the woman with the cake?
There's no other options?
There's just those two.
Oh, man, it's still pretty hard, because that was not her intent. I have to go with my kitchen isn't up to standards. It's not capable. I have a restaurant that isn't a restaurant. It's just a receiving dock for chicken.
And the thing is, I can see if she just sent that as a message to somebody and they screenshotted it. But when you're on TV talking to the news, don't say that.
Don't say that. That is the thing you do not say. Yeah. Yep. I have to go with that. Oh, gosh. That's fantastic.
Well, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug?
Please do me a favor and check out Sketch Comedy Podcast Show. You can see that at sketchcomedypodcastshow.com, or you can go to YouTube and check out our new enhanced editions of the sketches where I've added video narration. So it's got a video compendium to the audio podcast. And that's pretty much it.
Sounds good, man. I want to thank you for coming on. Now we're going to go to a song by Mike Phirman.
Every time I step on a bus, a plane, or a train, I find myself right next to a guy who's just shy of insane. Sometimes they don't make a peep, sometimes they feel the need to speak and give us all advice like, don't go near the creek. There's a guy on the other side of the street smoking a cigarette. Even though it's sunny outside, somehow he's just a silhouette. They keep popping up like zombies in the movie Dawn of the Dead. Can't tell if the guy right here wants to eat my lunch or eat my head. So I'm saying, one sketchy dude and another sketchy dude. The world has so many sketchy dudes. Where do they come from? I ask you. One sketchy dude and another sketchy dude. The world has so many sketchy dudes. Where do they come from? I'm asking. That guy wearing eye makeup with his hair dyed black and the piercings in his ear. I wish that he were sitting by me instead of this dude here. This guy in the raincoat just keeps staring at me and calling me slim. Now some clown in a Burger King crown is hiding, that's right, hiding behind him. Then later down by the Quiznos guy with cornrows starts to shake. He's freaking out, he's having a nightmare while he's still awake. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see a murder within the next 3 stops. I'd close my eyes but I wanna have something to tell the cops. Something like, one sketchy dude and another sketchy dude. The world has so many sketchy dudes. Where do they come from? I ask you. One sketchy dude and another sketchy dude. The world has so many sketchy dudes. Where do they come from? I'm asking. Come here, boy. What's wrong? Come here, boy. Let me talk to you. Friends now anymore.
How come he doesn't have to wear underwear? If you don't confess, the flowers will die.
I am old. They can't get you if you don't bathe.
sketchy dudes. The world has so many sketchy dudes. Will they overcome what's happening? Should I get a gun? Might have to. No escaping from these sketchy dudes.
How's that? Hello? Hey, did we record that? Oh. Is that you knocking at the door? Yes.
So sad, you were killed while recording that song about sketchy dudes. There was a knock at the door, you went to see who it was.
Yeah.
And then you were killed. At first I thought it was a joke, like, oh I get it, he's surrounded by sketchy dudes, even in his own home, and now they're even in the studio. But when you didn't show to the barbecue that you said you'd go to, if I went to, well then I knew that you were really killed. But wait, how did that make it into the final recording if you'd just been killed? How, unless the killer mixed down the song after killing you and then emailed it to me, which means he not only knew how to kill you, he also knew your email password. Oh, this just keeps getting worse. It also means he had my email address. I could be next. I better watch my back. Hello, I'm recording in here. Oh man, hang on. Yeah.
Good afternoon, I'm a homicide detective, here to investigate the murders of 2 recording artists. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Let's begin. Were the victims, did they ever make it seem like, did anybody ever come around acting like they might have been, So let me get this straight. First guy's hanging around singing about sketchy dudes, then he dies. Next guy sings about him and then he dies. Well, I think I know who the murderer was. It was him.
Hey, get off! Alright, yeah, fine, I did it. I killed them both. How'd you know?
A good cop's only as good as his informant, and I got the best kind of informant. Why not come out and take a bow, informant? Or should I say, sketchy dude?
Avenue with a star in that. That's where I'm going.
That's right, sketchy dude. You never killed anyone, did ya? Even though it kinda looked like you had. You were working for us as a very unlikely informant. You're the eyes and the ears of the police department, and we need you.
Khakis for women. Men's a window khakis.
That lady with the kitchen, dude, that's, my God. I really wasn't expecting to see that when I was looking through the news for a story.
No way. How would you expect to see that? Like, nobody's that dumb.
Yeah, the lady with the cake. That was going to be this week's Dumbass of the Year. And then I saw the restaurant, and I thought, I'll check it out. And the more I read, the more I knew that this had to be something that we needed to make a choice about.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should make more baked goods for, local law enforcement. Maybe just like, as I'm driving by, if I like go by a little fast, throw a package of cookies out the door.
That would be nice, 'cause we don't have cookies.
Oh, that's right. You don't have cookies.
And now, Comedy A Go-Go presents Fake Advice for New Comics.
If you don't go to open mics to work on being famous, you need to think about quitting.
Do you have a Dumbass of the Year nomination, idea for the show, or just want to say hi? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
We're back, and I'm being joined by the comedian and cartoonist that designs the current cover art for the show. His name is Sam Dealey. Sam, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And the last time you were on the show was the 2-year anniversary episode, and I said that we were going to start a thing where you take clips from the show, and on Saturdays, I would release a Facebook cartoon. I said that in the last day of July,
and we haven't gotten around to it. Yeah.
So listeners, I apologize. And I apologize to Sam because it is absolutely not his fault.
Oh, well, now you're just reminding me of the things that I haven't gotten done this month either.
But hopefully we will be able to do that soon.
Yeah,
so
soon, I hope.
Another thing that I hope we are able to do soon, and by soon, I mean right now, is a this or that scenario from our friends over at the This or That podcast. You can check them out on iTunes and many other places. The scenario is, would you rather say happy birthday at the end of every sentence, or would you rather everything you eat and drink taste like birthday cake for the rest of your life?
How is that even a question? I mean, like, I don't know. Well,
I think I'm already locked in on my answer.
Okay. I'd take the birthday cake still. My first thought is, how is that even a question? Because obviously the birthday cake is better than having this verbal cudgel that you're constantly having to wave around. But then I realized, okay, so like the minute that you say that, immediately birthday cake then becomes the most disgusting thing you have ever tasted, right? Because you're tasting it all the time, and then it sucks because you have it all the time. You can't enjoy it.
Right.
Because that's the only way that you can enjoy food, right? Is that you have some kind of variety. I say this as an autistic person, and as an autistic person, by law, I am supposed to only eat one thing ever. That's how all autistic people are supposed to behave. It's a law now. But I don't. I break the law all the time on that one. Anyway, I still think that I would take the birthday cake because I think that as torturous as it would become, it would be easier for me to deal with that than dealing with the social repercussions of saying that all the time, right? Again,
that is true. There would be a lot of blowback.
Person. I have enough trouble with conversations. I mean, I'm barely managing this conversation as it is. You don't understand, my natural inclination to Rain Man it and say, yep, birthday cake, definitely birthday cake.
Now, you mentioned you were autistic. Has that affected your stand-up comedy at all?
Maybe, in that I haven't actually done stand-up in several years. It's true. I keep thinking about like going back and doing more stand-up. So, rather than focusing on doing the open mics, which I suppose I should, it would help my presentation like this here. I would probably be much better at this presentation on the podcast if I spent more time doing open mics. I focused on doing the webcomic instead because I know that with the webcomic, once I've published it, it's online forever, 24 hours a day. Anyone can, and people will send links to it, left and right. And so it feels to me like a better way to build my audience doing the cartooning. If I were doing the stand-up, yes, I think that my autism would have an impact on my stand-up too. I know that I have specifically sat down and written several jokes specifically about my autism. And, I don't plan for that to be like my thing. I don't plan to be like the autistic comedian, but definitely like, it's a part of your life, right? Everybody who does – okay, not everybody, because Mitch Hedberg never talked about his life at all. He just talked about like the color of bananas. But it's true.
He was to me, he was one of the greatest of all time. I got to see him live, and man, what an amazing comedian.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, he's definitely good, but Hedberg is like – watching Hedberg stand up is kind of like reading the Far Side cartoons, because Gary Larson also never talked about his own life. Everything in the Far Side was just far out bizarre shit. Nobody ever knew what Gary Larson's real life was like because he never talked about it. Mitch Hedberg is like the single panel comic equivalent of stand up, right?
Mm-hmm. And I never really thought about that, but that is kind of amazing that a lot of comedians, whether they mean to or not, you get an insight into who they are by their jokes. And a lot of times they're exaggerated and you can't just go directly on what they say on stage. Well, and with Mitch, I never really got to see what his life really was like. I have a very firm understanding of his mind, but that's about it.
Yeah, I have for a long time been a huge fan of most of the people on The Daily Show, to be honest. Most of the people that were on The Nightly Show I was big fans of, during that brief period before it was canceled. In particular, if you look at Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert especially, I admire them for things that I have a really hard time doing. Colbert and Jon Stewart in particular, both of them have, throughout their careers, been very, very good at having civil discussion with people at the far opposite extreme, at like sitting down and having a civil discussion with people from Fox News. I'm not even sure if I even could do that. I sit and, would watch them and interview Bill O'Reilly, and even before we knew that he was a rapey asshole, I can't fathom like how they managed to like sit there with a straight face and have this interview. It's just this talent that I just do not have.
I do remember watching one of the interviews. I believe it was Jon Stewart with Bill O'Reilly, and I was really amazed by how cordial both parties were.
Yeah, him and Colbert both. Colbert, I forget who it was. He had somebody on who made some statement. The liberal New Yorkers they're going to his show obviously aren't gonna particularly care for this comment, and he got booed. And Colbert stopped. Not for long, just for a brief moment. He stopped and he said, "Please do not boo him. He is my guest." And it was sort of like a lightning bolt in my brain when I saw that. I was like, obviously that's what you should do in that scenario, but I never would have, probably never would have occurred to me.
You would have been booing with the audience.
Yeah, right.
I would like to see the host boo along with the audience. That would be kind of funny.
Yeah, well, the problem with that though is that if you do that, you're never gonna get any of those people to come back on your show. Right? So
I would say not. Yeah,
if you want to be able to have the opportunity to, for the one time, it might be kind of cool to see it. It wouldn't help you maintain the show, I'm sure.
You're not getting that David Letterman longevity out of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. and the execs would hate it.
Well, I got an old segment that I'm bringing back. It's called Sweet or Psychotic.
Oh, yeah.
What we do is we talk about an actual news story, and we try to decide if the person in that news story is doing something very sweet or if they're just completely batshit crazy. This story is a man who made a camel the camel of honor at his wedding, along with 3 small donkeys, and did it without his wife's knowledge. But the reason he did it is because they were getting married on a Wednesday, which many people refer to here in the United States as Hump Day.
Hump Day, yeah.
And I'm assuming that the reason he had the donkeys is because he's an ass.
Yeah.
But they do have a prior relationship with the camel. It's from a ranch that the couple volunteers at. And when they go there, the camel runs up to the fence because they always bring treats for him.
Right. Okay.
But I'm not too sure if his wife was thrilled because in addition to not knowing, while they were doing the vows, the camel was eating her bouquet. And then eventually, once he had enough of the bouquet, started eating the flowers out of her hair.
That's the dangerous part, because the minute they start eating those flowers, then they start eating the hair, actually. And, that's all fine and well, as long as she's okay with shaving her head after the wedding.
So do you think it's sweet that they brought in this camel, and by they, I only mean the husband.
The husband, yeah.
Because they have a relationship with it from the ranch that they volunteer at, which to me, I do think that's kind of sweet. Or do you think it's psychotic that this guy just brought an animal to his wedding and figured his wife would be cool with it?
I think animals at weddings are fine. Substituting the bridesmaids with animals without consent. I think that's the reason why comedians pay alimony. Like in any given profession, there's that particular thing that gets you with your significant other, right? Mm-hmm. With cops, you're married to their job. At least that's the stereotype, right? Cops are married to their job, and that's why they pay alimony. But with comedians, it's shit like this.
If this helps you decide whether this is sweet or psychotic, this guy is not a comedian. He was just some guy. This wasn't a joke. It wasn't.
In that case, I think he missed his calling. I think this is a man who obviously desperately wants to be a comedian. He has to, really. I mean, you don't do something like this without expecting that in a few years' time, she's going to get tired of these sorts of things. And then all he's going to have to fall back on is the open mic nights, right?
Yeah. Now, I got to give him points and say he was being sweet for trying to include this animal into his wedding because, as I said,
animals that they already knew. Yeah.
Yeah. But more points go to being psychotic because he didn't clear this with her, and it doesn't really set a good tone for the marriage.
That's true.
When you make such a big step.
My wife would love to have animals, to have had animals at our wedding, my current wife. When my current wife and I, Tiffany and I, got married, we had a real small Justice of the Peace thing. We showed up, and my wife and I, the both of us, we come in, and the Justice of the Peace, oddly enough, you think of like a Justice of the Peace wedding as being like very, just like a legal procedure, right? Like you sit down at the desk and you both sign the paper and there you're married and you go. But both of my weddings actually were Justice of the Peace weddings. And in both cases, the JPs in Texas, at least, were actually very much interested in having that bit of sort of traditional ceremony where they give a little speech and you say your vows and there are friends and family there to witness it. But when Tiffany and I got married, we go in and the Justice of the Peace is like, okay, I'm going to say a few things now. And Tiffany and I both, like, we look at each other and we're like, okay, if you really must, that's okay. We'll let you. The both of us really were just sort of like rushing her along. Could this really just be like a legal ceremony? And it's not that the two of us have anything necessarily against ceremony, but it was a busy time in our lives. We had just got custody of our kids and we were working on trying to find a house. We were going to have to move across country to buy a house because we couldn't afford one anywhere near the city in Dallas. It was way too expensive. So for us, it was like, we just need to get this over with. And if we want to have a ceremony, we can do that later. But it was funny to me that we're the one, like the Justice of the Peace is like, seriously, like you just want a legal thing? Yeah, you're the Justice of the Peace. You're supposed to be all about that.
I'm not going to go back on the ruling of calling this guy psychotic, but I will say he did put effort into this. He actually dressed the camel in a bow tie. So there's some extra points going on to the sweet side. So I'm going to rule it, 49-51.
But it's true that Tiffany would have, if we had intended to have any kind of ceremony, she would have loved to have animals. For that matter, Tiffany would love for the two of us to have an actual ceremony now and only invite animals.
Well, I did a story a while back. It was about some guy, I forget where he was from, but he invited animals to his wedding and didn't tell his wife about it either. And he spent his entire wedding budget on pigs because he was hoping, well, I think his current wife now, well, who knows, maybe they're divorced by now.
Maybe not the same woman.
But his pet name, odd choice of words, but his pet name for his wife was Little Piggy. Oh. And he thought it would be cute to have all these pigs, and he was hoping to set a world record for pigs at a wedding. And blew their entire budget on that and still didn't get the world record. And his girlfriend was not happy.
Seriously? What is the world record for pigs at a wedding? See, I would have expected like the world record for pigs at a wedding would have been like 3.
Yeah.
There were 3 at this wedding. My God.
Yeah, I'd say maybe somebody had a wedding at a pig farm. But if you get all the pig farm pigs from, I don't know, a 3-city radius, I think you're okay. So this guy had hundreds and it wasn't enough. I don't know what the record is, but
I would think too, if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to try and get the record, you would do the research, right?
Just not cross your fingers and hope.
So I'm betting that this guy is not married anymore, and it's not because he had pigs at the wedding. It's because he doesn't know how to use Google. If you don't know how to use Google today, I mean, even just like basic stuff, basic shit on Google, that's it for your marriage today. Like, you need to be able to like have just a basic level of competency before you have something to bring to the table for a marriage. If you're not at least that competent, then you deserve to be single. I'm sorry. That
was pretty bad. Well, before we get out of here, is there anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, like I said, I do a webcomic called Woohooligan, www.woohooligan.com, woohoo, W2Os, H2Os, and the latter part of it is the word hooligan. So it's just like you would think it. It's just spelled like it sounds, .com. I have, a decent, at least I feel like it's a decent archive of cartoons and comics on there. I try to do kind of an uplifting breed of comedy, right? Yeah, sometimes, I make jabs at people, but I also am really just trying to make the world a better place, honestly. There's so much bad stuff in the world already. So we all need some good stuff to happen. So I'm trying to use my comedy to make the world a better place. And so if you're interested in that sort of thing, those kinds of what I feel are uplifting comedy, and you want to help out for just $1 a month, you can do that on our Patreon at patreon.com/woohooligan, just like the website.
All right. Sounds good, man. And I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun. All right, guys, that's it for us this week. Make sure if you haven't yet, you go to facebook.com/we-don't-have-cookies. Give that page a like. Yeah. As always, thanks for downloading the show, and I'll talk to you Thursday. Fingers crossed. Now that I said I'll talk to you Thursday, you know how there's a curse on the show? Well, we'll be talking about that next Monday. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good show. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
It's the best chicken.
What of the customer? Stephen King! Awesome!
Once upon a midnight dreary, as I spit this weak and weary, I will choke this joker with a trochee till his cheeks are teary. But y'all don't hear me, all should fear me. I'll forever be better, you'll never be near me. Your books are as eerie as Beverly Cleary. You're a full Bram Stoker, so scram, the show's over. Your flow's so, pose poems, poser. I wrote them locked in a cave, while I sobbed in a rage. The telltale heart beats soft in its grave. Well, this jerk just beats off on a page.
You wanna talk shop? You got that fun. Go back to Hot Topic and shop for a time. There's a melancholy alcoholic laughing stock in the King's Head. Now watch the castle rock. Pouty little poet with an opiate affliction. I'm a workaholic with a fiction addiction. Making dedicated reader shivery and jittery. Feel that rage and misery. You better start running, man. You're in deep poo-po. I'm a mad dog. Think shiny. Cujo. Tommy knock you down till you can't stand up. You're as soft as Poe, the Kung Fu Panda. Racks on racks cause I pen fat stacks of frightening writing. Have you seen the pile? I can even take a break from my routine style. Crank out a Shawshank or a Green Mile. Mask of the Red Death. Lily blood curdling. Hitting the pendulum. Not even unnerving. Irving on your first cousin when she's 13 years old. Now that's disturbing.
Even you pretend to do it, I've been really living through it. Misery and poverty and family woes. I see through you like pantyhose. Do a Chappelle and Simpson cameos. Even if you're gripping on a weapon, then you better get a step in. If you're messing with a whore lord, in a minute maybe I'ma hit him, cut him into itty bitty bits, and I'ma stick him in the floorboard.
Speaking of bored, you're the worst. Dropped out of school, but you can't drop a burn. I could have spent that time better. In 8 bars, I can write a whole bestseller. I'm so prolific, sickly goblin won't be bothering me. I'm on a cover and spree, and I'll be smacking you with any of the big thick bars in my big dick bibliography. See, I'm the author with the blood and gore lore galore that'll horrify a reader to the core. Fame, money, talent, success, you'll always have less.
Evermore! Whole war! Whole star! You decide! Bottles over the
Mutavore, Kaiju, category trace, bringing you the end time.
I'm gonna
gonna raise it to the ground. When I say raise, you know I mean the raise, where you don't lift it up, instead you knock it down. Look, never mind, I'm gonna be a hurricane with 6 eyes. I'm gonna be a big apocalyptic jerk. I'm gonna do the exact same moves the other kaijus do, but this time it's gonna work. It's all in my reach as I corral through the breach. You think a wall on the beach can keep me out? The end is nigh, and I'm the ending guy.
I know you beat the one before me. You may have won that time, and the time before that, 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 and the time.
But not this time.
Not this time.
You're like a broken computer keyboard. There's no escape.
I'm not like all the other ones. They were different, and I'm not. We may have had the same power, same will, same guts, same claws, same strength, same height, same weight, no weapon, same brain, even same DNA, and the same game plan. The difference is how we are different. Cause I don't have my head ripped off, a rocket in my butt, my brains aren't floating in a lobster tank. I still have teeth, my legs aren't gone, I'm not tied down to an aircraft carrier. I can still breathe, I'm not on fire, my ribs aren't a strip mall in Hong Kong. You thought they were the ones to worry about? You were wrong. Let's proceed to begin. I'm gonna lead with my chin. Just watch me follow in the footsteps of the fallen for the win. The tides are sure to shift if you catch my drift.
I know you beat the one before me.
Pretty much immediately.
You may have won that time, and the time before that, 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 and the time.
But not this time!
Alright, it's go time! Let's see what you got, Tin Man! I'm gonna crack you open like a peanut shell, eat those 2 little nuts, and throw the rest right into that! Ow! Oh, what was that? What is that, a chest launcher? Ow! Hey! Hey, let go of my face spin thing! Stepping up, Otachi, Kaiju Category 4. This world is mine.
I'm gonna raise that city. I'm gonna raise it to the ground.
Ow! Hey, come on, I didn't even get to sing my song! Whoa! What is that, a plasma caster? Dude, ow! You just tore off my acid sack! Ow! You know what? Fine! I don't even need a tail! It was too big anyway! Let's go for a little ride, you and me! I got you now! What? A sword? Dude, you can't just all of a sudden have a sword! You have to say that at the beginning! That's not fair! I didn't see this coming! Ah! Ah! Come on! Ah!
Stop the clock.